Have you ever wondered what the world was like when Queen Elizabeth II was born? On a day in early September 1533, a baby girl named Elizabeth opened her eyes to a world of turmoil. She was born to King Henry VIII and his second wife Anne Boleyn amidst a period of great political unrest and religious upheaval. King Henry VIII, once a devout Catholic, had broken from the church to marry Anne, causing shockwaves across England and Europe. This act not only redefined the religious landscape, but also set the stage for a power struggle that would last decades. The England that Elizabeth was born into was one divided by faith, politics, and power. Little did they know that this newborn, born amid such chaos, would grow to become one of the most influential monarchs in English history. Born in a time of upheaval, Elizabeth was destined to navigate tumultuous times. Imagine being the third in line to the throne, yet eventually becoming the queen. That was Elizabeth's fate. Elizabeth's path to the throne was nothing short of a labyrinth. Her journey began with the death of her half-brother Edward VI. Being a staunch Protestant, Edward named Lady Jane Grey as his successor, bypassing both his half-sisters. Yet Lady Jane's reign was short-lived and Mary I, Elizabeth's half-sister, ascended to the throne. Mary, a fervent Catholic, was quite the contrast to both Edward and Elizabeth. Her reign was marked with religious persecution, earning her the nickname Bloody Mary. Her death in November 1558, however, paved the way for Elizabeth. But ascending to the throne was no walk in the park for Elizabeth. Her Protestant faith was a bone of contention in a largely Catholic kingdom. She faced opposition, suspicion, and outright hostility. Yet she persevered. Despite the odds, Elizabeth was crowned Queen of England on January 15, 1559. With a new queen on the throne, a golden age was about to dawn. Queen Elizabeth I, having ascended to power, was set to usher in an era of unprecedented cultural and geopolitical growth, marking the beginning of what we now know as the Elizabethan Age. From the outset, Elizabeth demonstrated a remarkable understanding of the delicate balance of power and religious tension that characterized her kingdom. She established Protestantism as the national religion, a move that firmly placed England in the Protestant camp of Europe, setting the stage for future conflicts and alliances. But while she was a Protestant queen, Elizabeth was not a zealous persecutor of Catholics. She introduced a policy of religious tolerance, an unusual strategy for the era, which allowed her subjects to practice their faith in peace as long as their loyalty to the crown was unquestionable. But her reign was not just about religious reform. The Elizabethan age is often associated with a cultural renaissance, a time of flourishing arts and literature. Under her patronage, artists and writers found not just support, but also inspiration. It was during this period that figures like Shakespeare and Marlowe emerged, their works reflecting the richness and diversity of the time. Shakespeare, with his timeless plays, and Marlowe, with his pioneering dramas, became the luminaries of English literature. Elizabeth's reign was marked by a sense of optimism and national pride. There was a feeling that England was moving away from the darkness of constant religious strife and into a more enlightened age. The arts flourished, science advanced, and exploration expanded the horizons of the known world. All these were not mere coincidences. They were the results of a queen who knew how to lead, inspire, and create an environment where creativity and progress could thrive. Elizabeth was not just a queen. She was a catalyst for change, a harbinger of progress. Under Elizabeth's rule, England was stepping into a golden age of cultural rejuvenation. A queen who never married? That was Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen. It may seem unusual, even radical in the context of the 16th century royal politics, but Elizabeth I made the deliberate choice to remain unmarried and childless throughout her reign. This decision, far from being a footnote in her story, became a central aspect of her rule and her persona. Elizabeth's lifelong status as a single woman was not merely a personal inclination. It was a strategic maneuver, a diplomatic tool she wielded with finesse. She understood that her hand in marriage was a powerful bargaining chip in the grand game of international politics. She deftly used the prospect of a royal wedding to negotiate alliances, keep potential enemies at bay, and maintain the balance of power. All the while, she remained resolutely single, keeping control firmly in her own hands. But this unconventional choice did not go without scrutiny. Her virginity was a topic of endless speculation and intrigue, both at home and abroad. Rumors swirled, tongues wagged, and even the Pope questioned her celibacy. Yet Elizabeth remained steadfast, her personal life her own, her marital status a symbol of her independence. In a world dominated by men, where women were expected to be wives and mothers, Elizabeth stood out. She was a queen in her own right, not a queen consort. She did not share her power with a king, nor did she pass it on to a child of her own. Instead, she wielded her authority solo, charting her own course and leading her nation to a golden age. Elizabeth's choice to remain unmarried was not a sign of weakness or a failure to fulfill her royal duty. On the contrary, it was a testament to her strength, her self-reliance, and her strategic acumen. She was a queen who ruled alone, and she did so with grace, courage, and an iron will. Elizabeth's choice to remain unmarried became a symbol of her strength and independence. All good things come to an end, and so did the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. As the twilight years of her reign approached, Elizabeth faced mounting challenges. The once invincible Armada was defeated, the treasury was drained, and the populace was growing restless. Yet, in spite of these adversities, her spirit remained unbroken. As the 16th century drew to a close, Elizabeth's health began to decline. She was often plagued by melancholy and illness, and in the early hours of March 24, 1603, the Queen breathed her last. Her passing marked the end of an era, the closing chapter of a reign that had spanned 45 years. Elizabeth's death had far-reaching implications. It marked the end of the Tudor dynasty, a lineage that had held the throne since Henry VII in 1485. The scepter passed to the Stuarts, with James VI of Scotland ascending as James I of England, uniting the crowns of Scotland and England for the first time. Yet the end of Elizabeth's reign was far from the end of her influence. The Elizabethan age was a time of cultural flourishing and geopolitical expansion, and its echoes reverberated long after her death. Elizabeth's reign had seen England transform from a small island nation to a global power. The arts had flourished, with luminaries like William Shakespeare penning works that would be celebrated for centuries to come. More than just a monarch, Elizabeth was a symbol of resilience and determination. She navigated the treacherous waters of 16th century politics with a steady hand, maintaining England's sovereignty amidst the turbulent seas of European power struggles. Under her watchful eye, England had grown, prospered, and thrived. She had fostered a sense of national identity and pride that persists even today. Elizabeth may have been the last Tudor monarch, but she was far from the last to feel her influence. With Elizabeth's death, the Elizabethan age ended, but her legacy lived on. Her reign was a testament to the importance of cultural growth and the indomitable spirit of a nation. And so, the sun set on the Elizabethan age, but the shadows it cast continue to shape the world we know today. What does the reign of Queen Elizabeth I tell us about the Renaissance and her impact on history? Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've walked through together. Born amidst turmoil, Elizabeth's early life was marred by strife and uncertainty. The illegitimate child of the infamous King Henry VIII, she navigated the tumultuous waters of royal intrigue with a resilience that would define her reign. Her ascendancy to the throne wasn't a simple succession, but a testament to her will and determination. Once crowned, Elizabeth embarked on what would become known as the Golden Age. Her reign saw England transform from a small, strife-ridden island to a global power. Trade flourished, arts thrived, and the English language began its journey towards becoming a universal tongue. The world watched as this small island nation punched above its weight, all under the guidance of a steadfast queen. Elizabeth was known as the Virgin Queen, a title that captivated the imagination of her subjects and foreign courts alike. Her decision to remain unmarried was a revolutionary act, challenging societal norms and expectations. It also allowed her to maintain control over her kingdom without the interference of a king. Elizabeth's status as the Virgin Queen wasn't just a title, it was a strategy, a symbol of her independence and strength. The end of Elizabeth's reign marked the end of an era. But her legacy lives on, not just in the annals of history, but in the very fabric of our world today. The Elizabethan age was a period of unprecedented growth and cultural flourishing, a testament to the power of human creativity and innovation. Elizabeth's reign was a testament to resilience and innovation, embodying the spirit of the Renaissance and leaving an indelible mark on history. As we reflect on the life and reign of Queen Elizabeth I, we see a woman who rose above her circumstances, led her nation to greatness, and left a lasting legacy for generations to come. She was not just a queen, but a force of nature, a beacon of the Renaissance.